All right, guys, good morning. Today we're going to discuss what to look for at the table and a little bit on opponent reading. Now, I know a lot of pros stress table selection, so I know how to select table. Personally, I don't run from tables, but let's get into it. See, I have this ego problem, right? I can't stand when I'm at a table and I'm losing, so I can't let the table beat me, and I can't stand when I'm in a casino and I'm losing. I can't let the casino beat me. The only time I leave a table is when I've already beaten it. You know, when I'm already beating it and I'm not hitting cards. If I'm spanking ass, I'm going to stay there. Or if a game breaks. But my point is, you can't just run from games all the time. It doesn't make you a better player. All right, so what to look for? How do you spot the player that you really don't want to play, right? Aggressiveness and creativity. If this player has two things, you really don't want to mess with him. You just want to play your cards. You play him tight. He's a loose player. Play him tight. Also, there are players that play opposite to your style. I'll show you what I mean. So let's say the board comes ace, 5-10, rainbow. My style of play is, if I had the ace at this point, I wouldn't bet it. I'm not scared of somebody hitting a straight on me. Rarely happens, and there's no flush draw out there. So if my opponent bets it, I would take note of that because he plays opposite of my style. There's nothing wrong with playing opposite of my style. Okay, that doesn't mean they're a bad player, but they can trap me because I wouldn't be looking for it, if that makes sense. So that's something else you got to take a note of. So if you're new to the game, right, and there's people who play opposite of your style, and there's always aggressive and creative people at your table, you really don't have no good spots, so you would change table. For me, for my style, a good table has a lot of passive people in it. You know, the fit or fold play pokers types. The more of those, the better the table for me, for my style. Because the more aggressive and creative people you have at your table, most likely it's the more money you're going to lose unless you're hitting cards. You can't bluff them. You have to hit cards. Sometimes you get card debt. So both in tournament and in cash games, what you really want to look for is the people to your left. What are they doing? How are they playing? Are they aggressive? Do they fold much? If the people 2 spots, maybe even 3 to your left are passive, then that means you can raise the button all day long. However, if 2 or 3 people to your left are aggressive and they always call, you can't bluff them, and you keep raising the button while they're to your left, or if you try to raise the cutoff to get position, you're screwed. When I first started playing, this was one of the biggest leaks in my game. I wouldn't pay attention to who was on my left, and I was always just raising, you know, because I was thinking I could bluff anybody. But you got to pay attention to your opponent. Everybody knows in tournaments you got to make moves, right? Well, sometimes you have aggressive people to your left, and it limits the amount of moves you can make, and you just have to hit cards. It's just how it goes sometimes. You got to be patient. In cash games, I'm definitely switching seats. If I got 2 aggressives to my left, I'm definitely trying to move them to my right. If the aggressive people are to your right, it at least gives you a better chance to react. Like, you know they're probably going to bluff into you anyway, so you still got to hit cards. But, you know, at least you're not raising and then getting re-raised. So there are aggressive players and creative players. They're just aggressive players. And then there are fit or fold poker players. And that simplifies it for me. It makes it easier. Any player with any of these styles I just mentioned can also be unorthodox. So you got to watch out for that. Because I've seen tight players bet out, usually the rookies. And you know the aggressive ones do it too, so keep note. I hope this lesson has helped you in some way today. This is just touching on some of the mistakes I made when I got in the poker game. Hope it helps. Comments, feedback, welcome. Peace. The moral of this story is, if we're in a tournament together and I'm on your left, you better watch out. If we're in a cash game and I'm on your left, you better do whatever you can to get me on your right. It's going to be a bad day. In a game full of tight and aggressive players, be aggressive and creative, okay? Learn how to switch gears. Learn how to go play your cards. Learn how to be aggressive.